Okay, so cryptography, ito yung title no ng ating bagong lecture. So this may sound familiar kasi pag sinabi natin cryptography, part po yan ng security. Meron nga lang siyang kanyang sariling elements as to how we can understand what cryptography really is, no? Meron po tayong of course explanation dito, pero let's try to look at the other source kung ano ba yung mabibigay nilang information and explanation regarding cryptography. So sa Google po, ang sinasabi diyan, ito yung isang klase ng science which secures information. So labas muna tayo sa IT security. Cryptography is applicable in any form of securing information. Ang ginagawa basically is na-transform it into an unreadable format. Unreadable meaning hindi po ito, kumbaga sa binabanggit nila, this is not in a layman's term. Yes, meron ding mga security na ang makikita mo dyan is you might possibly seeing alphanumerics and symbol, pero hindi po siya readable in an English format or in an English word. Di ba? So basically, ang tawag na sa format na yon ay ciphertext na ginagamitan daw po ng algorithms and keys for the very purpose of ensuring data privacy, integrity, and authentication, which allows the user or authorized parties to read and process the information. In our case, IT security, essential po yan for protecting digital communication. Not just communication, but all other aspects of informations as well. That includes, of course, business transactions such as banking transactions, and of course, any other form of business transaction. Now, in our module, cryptography would tell us, no, is cryptography daw po is an integral part of computing. So meaning, hindi po siya built-in na parte ng isang computing technology. No? So, ibig sabihin, sir, kung hindi yan built-in, pero pwedeng possible na ilagay. Yes. Kasi when we say integral part, meaning these are or this is an option for us para makapag-introduce tayo ng security dyan sa kung anumang klaseng device meron tayo or any assets that we would want to protect. Lalagyan natin yan ng security. And in our case, of course, is cryptography ang atin pong gagamitin. No? Now, hindi lang po sa mga computing devices available yan, sa mga networking din particularly, ginagamit din po si cryptography. No? Now, ginagamit ang cryptography if we have some conversation on our cell phones, check your emails, or you can even buy things online. So, basically, may mga security associated in these factors, no, or sa mga mediums na ito. Mediums kasi platforms na ginagamit sila, di ba? Cellphone, email, and then of course yung mga online shopping platforms such as of course Shopee and Lazada, TikTok Shop, Zalora, and any other platforms available over the internet. You can even integrate cryptography in filing your taxes. So, depende na po yan sa klase ng platform. Meron po yung mga collecting agencies in terms of the tax. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, before you can even access the platform, dadaan ka muna sa isang klase ng security. No? And of course, according to this, the chief security measure that allows us to make use of such technologies is cryptography. None other than, of course, cryptography. In the form of encryption. So, when we look at the word encryption, the first thing that will come to mind would be password. Tama? So, ganun lang naman kasi usually. Kumbaga, or any other form of encryption na meron available ang inyo pong mga devices. The most common one is of course yung password, di ba? And then of course meron din tayong biometrics, and then we also have patterns, di ba? Yung for example sa cellphone mo, no? And then yung PIN. Okay? So maraming klase ng encryption, ano? First cryptography na ginamit po ng mga early people is called the Caesar cipher. Are you familiar with Julius Caesar? Caesar po not Caesar. Okay? Julius Caesar po yan. Julius Caesar was a prominent Roman general. So, to make it short, he was the one who invented the Caesar cipher. So, it is a classic example of ancient cryptography na ginamit po niya to convey and relay messages para po sa kanyang mga subordinates. Kasi imagine nung araw, ang mga Romans talagang they were into war, no? Talagang mahilig silang or involved sila lagi sa mga wars, conquering, 'di ba? Yan ang yan ang history ng ng Rome. Rome is actually located in Italy, if in case you didn't know that. So isang lugar or isang state po 'yan sa Italy, kagaya ng Milan, Florence, 'di ba? So yung Rome nandoon din sa Rome ngayon yung Vatican City. And I'm sure aware kayo dyan, especially sa mga kapatid nating Katoliko, no? So ang component po ng Caesar cipher involves shifting each letter of the plain text message by a certain number of letters. So, kumbaga itong message na ito is sa isang papel, let's say, no, sa isang papel na ganyan, may mga letters po indicated on that paper. Pero that letter or those letters na indicated sa papel na yan, naka-random organization po yan. So, ibig sabihin, hindi mo yan mababasa kasi you're only looking at letters. And it's not even a word. Diba? Kumbaga, hindi mo siya sa kanila, siyempre, Italian yan. No? So, basically, kumbaga, kahit sabihin natin Italian yung kanilang language doon, no? Pero, hindi rin mababasa ng fellow Italian yung message kasi nga, yung mga message na nandoon or yung mga letters na nandoon sa message do not correspond to a specific word. So ang mangyayari lang basically is yung recipient ng message na yan was trained of course by Julius Caesar how to decode and decipher the message. Diba? So, tingnan natin dito, class. Meron akong pin-prepare na YouTube video that will explain kung paano bang inaalam ang isang Caesar cipher. So, let's all watch this. you can see, ito yung the only image na pwede nating makita kahit sang area ng net kayo maghanap. Wala pa talagang actual image niya kasi he was born on July 100 BC. Diba? Sad thing lang, he was assassinated. Kasi syempre, alam naman ninyo, pagka giyera, everything comes. Kaya, yeah, he was assassinated. And history will tell us that Julius Caesar was assassinated by yung kanya pong yung kanya mga subordinates. Diba? For the purpose, na politika rin siya before eh. Ayan o. Gaius Julius Caesar was a Roman general and statesman who was the dictator of the Roman Republic. Various points from 49 BC until his assassination in 44 BC. So, yan yung story ni Julius Caesar. Okay? Now, going back dito, so now, based on the video that we have watched, so, merong pattern kung paano ma-decipher or ma-decode o kaya naman maiintindihan kung paano talaga basahin, no? Yung kanya pong yung kanyang message. So, si Julius Caesar, aside from being a famous general, he was also a war strategician, no? Magaling din siyang gumawa ng mga war plans. And yeah, the reason why it was named Caesar Cyprus because siya yung gumawa niyan eh. Diba? Siya yung gumawa niyan. And only those trusted comrades or yung mga subordinates niya, no? Yun lang po yung nakakabasa ng message. Kasi you have to understand na nung araw, no? We cannot compare the ways of having a communication nung araw. Kasi wala pang ang kuryente nung panahon ni Julius Caesar eh. So much more yung telephone. Wala pa po yun. And if Julius Caesar wanted to send a message to his troops na nasa ibang area, di ba? Para maparating niya yung kanyang mensahe, possibly yung kanyang mga plano, no? Kailangan niyang gumawa ng ganyang klaseng cipher. Bakit kailangan pang gumawa, sir? Kasi nung araw, class, siyempre, pagka nasa giyera yung mga prominent figures na yan, yung kanilang messenger, tao po yun ha, hindi po yun application. Yung messenger nila na magdadala ng message, ita-travel po yung message. No? So, along the way, prone sa interruption yung messenger. So, sa kaso nila Julius Caesar, yung messenger na yan, of course, is either nakasakay yan sa kabayo, o kaya naman bumabiyahe yan na humahalo-bilo sa mga common people. Siyempre, hindi niya i-reveal na siya ay messenger ni Julius Caesar. Tapos pupuntahan niya yung lugar na kung saan doon talaga naka-assign yung letter. Pero usually, ang mga messenger po, gumagamit sila ng kabayo para makapunta sa iba't ibang lugar na kung saan nandoon pa yung ibang mga troops, no? But yeah, along the way, nai-intercept sila ng mga kalaban, so they were able to get the message. Kaya ang purpose niyan is, if in case na yung messenger, ma-intercept siya along the way, hindi maintindihan, di ba? Hindi maintindihan ng kalaban kung ano yung mga nandoon na message. Kasi nga, naka-ciphertext po yun. Ngayon, if in case naman na yung messenger successfully arrived at the destination, and then kung sino yung tao na pagbibigyan niya ng cipher na yan, yung taong yan, alam niyang basahin or alam niyang i-decipher yung message. Okay? Next. Now, bago raw po maimbento, no, yung mga modern computer, kagaya ng mga ginagamit natin ngayon, meron lang siyempre mga machines na kung saan tumutulong yung mga machines na yan para ma-decipher, no, yung mga encrypted messages. And itong mga machine na ito, gumagawa rin sila ng mga komplikadong klase ng encryption. Di ba? Machine na yan eh. So may involvement na po ang machine. Ang tawag pa nga dito, cryptographic machine, di ba? So may involvement na ang machine para gumawa ng isang encrypted message at mag-decipher ng mga encrypted message, di ba? So, yeah, yung mga machines na yan, sometimes mechanical machine sila, simple mechanical machine, pero habang nagde-develop ng technology, no, meron na pong inclusion ng electronics. Yeah, siyempre, as time goes by, di ba? Year by year, nade-develop po yung mga machines na yan. And then, of course, may electronics na kung saan possible, meron na pong involvement ang electricity to power up the machine. Diba? And merong isang klase ng cryptographic machine na purely mechanical po siya. Ang tawag doon ay Jefferson disk, na inimbento ni Thomas Jefferson. If I'm not mistaken, Thomas Jefferson was also a president of the United States nung araw, di ba? So it was in 18th century pa, ayan, no? 1795. Take note of the date and the name, no? Sayang, wala na palang ano ito. Sa quiz naman, no? By the time na magkakaroon tayo ng quiz na ito, yan, yung mga names at saka yung mga dates, lalabas po yan. So yung Jefferson disk is a purely mechanical cryptographic machine. Ito naman, kaya tinawag na disk yan kasi binubuo yan ng iba't ibang klaseng disk. As you can see on the picture here, yung mga bilog na po na yan, rotating disk po ang tawag dyan, iba't ibang klaseng disk po yan. So in every disk, meron pong mga characters of letters and numbers. And each disk is actually marked with the letters A to Z. Doon po sa dulo niya. Hindi po sa loob. Nandito lang sa edge, nasa dulo. Yung letters A to Z. Take note, wala pa pong wala pang mga special characters na indicated dyan. Kasi ang mga encryption ng araw was only based on plain letters from A to Z or A to Z, no? And on each disk, yung letters daw po are arranged in a different order. So hindi magkakapareho. So for example, sa isang disk, A, B, C hanggang Z dito, sa kabila naman is for example W and then D. So depending on the construction of the disk. And each disk is also marked with a unique designator to facilitate arranging them in a particular order. So you might be thinking, paano nangyayari yung tinatawag natin na arranging them in a particular order when we have a disk na meron pong arrangement ng letters in a different order. So ito naman yung video, no? Regarding Jefferson disk. Panoorin naman po natin ito.
The Jefferson wheel is a cipher tool that uses a set of wheels or disks, each with the 26 letters of the English alphabet arranged around its edge. Letters on the wheels don't follow any special order or pattern, but instead are random. Each wheel has a unique number and a hole in the middle that allows wheels to be stacked on an axle. The wheels also have holes so that all the stacked wheels can be turned at the same time. The Jefferson wheel or disc was invented by Thomas Jefferson in about 1789. He came up with the device while he was staying in France, after discovering that his confidential mail had been opened. A more sophisticated version of Jefferson's cipher tool was built in 1891 by French Army cryptologist Etienne Bazary. Known as the Bazary cylinder, it was so effective that it was adopted by the American Army in 1922 and remained in use until World War II under the name M94. Let's look at the principle of how these cipher tools worked. First, both sender and receiver must have identical sets of wheels and arrange them in the same predefined order. Suppose the words to be encrypted are "move west," and that today's wheel arrangements are 7, 10, 4, 9, 3, 1, 12, 6, 2, 11, 8, and 5. After the wheels have been stacked on the axle, we turn each wheel to form the message, "Move west." Then we choose another row that consists of random letters and send these letters to the receiver. When the receiver gets the encrypted message, they stack their wheels in the predefined order and turn them until the receive letters are aligned. When the receive message is formed, the receiver looks at the other rows in order to find the original message. Almost certainly, it will be the only row that isn't complete gibberish. Even if the device were captured, without knowing the correct wheel arrangement, encryption would be extremely difficult. For example, in order to decipher the message, if the device has 12 wheels, as in our example, 12 factorial, or 479,001,600 different wheel arrangements would have to be checked. The Jefferson wheel had 36 wheels. The M94 device used by the US Army had 25. An improved version of the M94, known as the M138A, had hundreds of flat cardboard strips, 30 of which were used in each cipher session. Although today these kind of encryption devices are no longer secure against modern code-breaking techniques, they represent an important milestone in cryptology.
So ayun, no? Jefferson disk, based on the video, kung nakinig kayo or napanood nyo ng maigi yun, ginawa yun ni Thomas Jefferson kasi daw, yung isang mail niya na pinadala, parang na-intercept yata yung mail niya. And of course, mail yan, may message po doon. Yung sulat niya ba, yung pinadala niyang sulat na intercept, and of course the interceptor or the enemy possibly gets to know kung ano yung mga plano, no, ng troops nila, nila Thomas Jefferson. And that's the reason why he decided to invent a machine that could decipher and encrypt a message. Kasi based dun sa video kanina, nagets ko yung nagets ko yung parang gustong mangyari ng Jefferson disk. Kumbaga, yung mga disk na yan, ipo-form mo lang sila base doon sa message na gusto mong i-convey or i-relay. So pag nagkaroon na ng formation yung mga disk, tapos meron ng arrangement ng mga letters that can form words or word, no? Ang gagawin na lang para hindi malaman ng kalaban kung ano yung letter, maghahanap sila sa ibang row ng iba't ibang arrangement naman ng letter na hindi naman readable. Tapos yun ang isisend nila na parang code. Ang gagawin naman ng receiving body, i-arrange yung code na yon, tapos dun sa ibang row, hahanapin naman yung message na readable. So, yun yung parang nakita kong simplest form or explanation ng Jefferson disk. I'm not sure kung sa part ninyo, ganun ang pagkakaunawa ninyo, no? Pero, kasi base rin sa ibinigay na explanation kanina, ganun ang ginawa eh. Okay? Ito yung example, no? Ng isang Jefferson disk na naka-layout. Ang Jefferson disk, by the way, di ba, based on the video na rin kanina, nagkaroon siya ng iba't ibang mas magandang version. And yung isang version na inadapt daw ng American troops is yung yung ginawa ng isang French inventor. I forgot the name. Etienne Baize ba yun? Basta, no? And then later on, na-evolve pa siya, na-develop pa siya, naging M94. Diba? So, if you're going to look at M94 information over the net, yung Jefferson disk exactly ang makikita ninyo. Okay? Meeting is a go. Usually, ganyan yung mga wording sa military, no? Nababasa niyo ba itong isa? Yan, no? Meeting is a go. For example, ito yung message na gusto nilang iparating sa troop. Meeting is a go. Ang gagawin ng magsisend, let's say pipili siya rito. Pipili siya rito sa mga rows na nandyan, no? Let's say, halimbawa, itong naka-highlight, possibly, ito yung pinili nilang parang code. Ito yung sinend nila doon sa receiving body. Hindi naman itong message na to kasi pag na-intercept yung message, mababasa kagad to. Diba? So, ito yung code na sinend nila para if in case ma-intercept. Ang makikita lang dyan is letter, ano bang letter to? Medyo malabo, no? Pero I'm seeing letter P, letter N, letter M. So, paano mo babasahin yan? Eh, hindi naman yan English word. So, yung receiving body, i-arrange nila yung mga disk para makuha itong code na ito. Tapos, hahanapin nila sa ibang row yung message, yung eksaktong message na nag-send ng kanilang kanilang kakamping troop. So, basically, ganon ang ginagawa ng Jefferson disk. So, now we understand kung paano gumagana or ginagamit ang isang Jefferson disk, di ba? So, as mentioned kanina, Thomas Jefferson po is, if I'm not mistaken, no, correct me if I'm wrong, naging presidente yata siya ng America before, di ba? So, yung mga, like for example, kagaya ni George Washington, actually, nandito rin si George Washington sa discussion natin ito, if I'm not mistaken. Wala nga lang si Abraham Lincoln. Si Abraham Lincoln, of course, isa rin yun sa mga naging prominent figures ng Amerika, and of course, naging presidente rin siya ng Amerika, no? Sayang hindi siya nailagay dito. But in any case, so let's see kung ano pa yung nandito. Kung sino-sino pa yung mga nandito na ano. Now, ito pang isa. So, meron pa pong isang example ng isang cryptographic machine na sumikat din during World War I and of course, World War II. Sumikat din po yan. Ang tawag po doon ay Enigma machine. No? So, it was a German-made cryptographic machine na ang gumawa po niyan ay si Arthur Scherbius in 1923. Diba? So, sumikat lang talaga to during World War II. Pero itong time na to, 1923, if I'm not mistaken, part pa rin ng World War I yan. Diba? Kasi nung time na yan, kasagsagan pa ng, kasagsagan pa ng pagigipagyera ng Germany yan. Headed by, of course, the Nazi leader, si Adolf Hitler. Diba? If you're familiar with the name Adolf Hitler, opo, isa yan sa may ginawang malaking contribution sa kasaysayan. Buti sana kung ang kanyang contribution ay maganda. Hindi eh. Actually, si Adolf Hitler wiped out most of the population ng Europe. And for some reason, Adolf Hitler, galit na galit siya sa mga Jews, yung mga Hudyo, galit na galit siya doon, di ba? Talagang pag nalaman niyang Hudyo ka, at sinakop nila yung lugar na yan, at nalaman niyang Hudyo ka, talagang ipapapatay ka niya on the spot. So basically, ganun talaga yung ano niya, no? For some reason, galit na galit siya sa mga Jews, no? And marami raw pong klase ng Enigma machine na na-develop, na may mga add-ons pa, and yung mga possible na pwedeng i-connecta sa kanila. Now, just to give you an idea, yung Enigma machine, eto po, kung mapapansin niyo yung timeline, 1923. Pero ang Enigma machine is capable of transmitting information wirelessly. Ha? Meron na palang wireless transmission ng araw, sir? Yes! Totoo po yan. if you go back to history, sino ba sa tingin ninyo ang somehow nag-introduce ng telephone sa mundo? Now you might be saying na si Alexander Graham Bell, di ba? The guy who invented the telephone. Yes, may possibility rin po 'yan. And siya rin ay nakalagay na rin sa history. Pero class, the first person who transmitted a telephone call was not an American, but an Italian. Try ninyong i-search si Guglielmo Marconi. Siya yung unang tao, Italian po yan, na nakapag-transmit ng isang telephone call wirelessly. If I'm not mistaken, yung call nanggaling sa Palermo, Italy. Tumawag siya sa New York. Diba? So this will give us an idea na yung mga ginagamit nating technologies ngayon na napaka-advanced, napakaganda, ginamit na rin po ng mga naunang tao. But of course, when it comes to the design and of course the user friendliness, magkaiba. Kasi hindi natin pwedeng i-compare ang technologies na meron tayo today sa technologies na meron yung mga naunang tao. Instead, dapat magpasalamat tayo sa kanila. Because of them, we were able to develop a technology or technologies na ginagamit natin para mapadali yung ating buhay. Not in a saying na mapapadali yung buhay mo, but you know, yung mga bagay na ginagawa mo mas napapabilis na because of these technologies. And we need to thank the people, no, yung mga inventors before. Because of them, nagkaroon tayo ng mga technologies na ginagamit natin today. Imagine that. Diba? So, ito pong cryptographic machine ito is far different from nung nauna kanina. Diba? We had Caesar cipher, and then we had Jefferson disk, na kung saan iba ang formation. Ito naman, kung mapapansin ninyo, this is like your normal typewriter. Yes, kasi meron din po siyang mga keyboards. Ayan, diba? Wherein you can type keys para kang gumagawa ng ng sulat. Diba? And yung Enigma machine po was based on a series, yung pagkakasunod-sunod of wheels. Parang yung kanina, diba? Yung kay Jefferson disk, rotating disk naman yung sa kanya. Ito, gulong naman po yun sa kanya. Ang tawag nung sa gulong na yun ay rotor. So yung rotor is like parang sa sasakyan, meron din siyang mga rotors, no? Parang it's a circular type of an object. Tapos parang kagaya ng sa Jefferson disk kanina, circular din siya. Tapos yung mga letters nasa dulo, no? Ito naman pong Enigma machine, yung rotors niya, yung mga letters niyan, meron pong tig-iisang electrical contacts on them. So for example, yung letter A, underneath it, sa ilalim ng letter A, meron pong isang electrical contacts, no? For the very reason of possibly putting up or typing the letter itself, no? And kapareho lang daw po, almost the same lang daw po ang konsepto nito with the Jefferson disk. And then of course, meron siyang keyboard na kung saan pwede kang mag-type ng mga plain text message, no? And of course, set of 26 characters above the keyboard. Yung 26 characters na po na yun po yung mga letters in the alphabet. Kasi kung hindi natin isasama yung enye, no, sa alphabet, sa numbers of alphabet, letters ng alphabet, na 26 yata ang makukuha mo. Diba? Yung normal na A, B, C, D hanggang Y and Z. And if you happen to type any of the letters dyan sa keyboard, iilaw daw po yan, indicating the user na i-press down niya ng tama yung letter na tinatype niya. Okay? Now, to give us an idea kung ano ang ginagawa ng isang Enigma machine, ito po, meron din akong pin-prepared na video. Mas maganda kung expert ang mag-explain because hindi naman natin masyadong expert yan. So ito po, panoorin natin itong video na to.